Hopefully y'all don't mind me typing. Get this podcast started.
Just gonna double check on my phone here.
Get the ball in the post, he said. Get the ball in the post, he said.
That don't barely happen anymore.
No, that's because that's where big men play.
All right.
So I think I got everything.
You control you.
Okay. Pull up my notes. Get my Celsius in there.
I'm waiting for a little bit of not getting any volume from you on here.
No volume, no volume. TikTok being a pain. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check.
I don't see that little button going.
Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic, 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 mic.
Ah. Okay. So, give me a second.
Oh, it really wants to be a pain, huh?
Yeah, it is. You have to go in and out. Right, and so you may want to talk to your YouTube people.
Yeah, I get started. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the You Control You podcast. You know how we start every episode. We start with what we're grateful for. I'm grateful for life, God, family, friends. I'm specifically grateful that I'm being given the chance to build the things that I'm building. And I'm grateful for the journey, the being tired, the being exhausted, the being stressed. And I'm grateful that there were many times where I didn't know what to do with my stress, because I believe I'm handling it pretty well now. And it's allowing me to look at life a little bit differently. I know this episode of the podcast won't be out for a little while, so I don't mind saying this. But right now I have until Thursday to sort of make a decision if I'm moving into my new gym this weekend or if I'm waiting to the end of the month, because I don't like the idea of opening the new spot the very week I have to go out to New York for coaching. So basically open on a Monday, be there Tuesday, Wednesday, and then leave Thursday and don't get back till Sunday. I don't like the idea of that. So if I get the gym moved over this weekend, that gives me a week plus 3 days to work out any bugs, get everything right, and just have a soft opening on this next coming Monday and then work it out. But there's a lot of things that need to be done. And they're not, when I say it's a lot of things, it's not really, it's funny because I just told my wife this. It's not so much that there's a lot of things, just the things are time consuming. So like the cage is all the way put up, it's clean, it's put together, it looks really dope in there. A lot of the office stuff are set up. The sauna's been set up. I've been using that. My strength trainer is getting his things sorted out. Later today, I'm gonna go back to like drilling holes in the cement so we can hang our trolley system. And after that, it's one more cleanup of the floors, and then it's laying down the mats. So there's not a lot of things. It's just time consuming. Laying down the mats and making sure that's all right, making sure that's correct is time consuming. And then if that's all done, then on Friday night, we can unload all the mats that are at my old gym, load it into a U-Haul, get the U-Haul over to the new spot, and then Saturday unload and get that and finish getting that set up. If that happens, then I'm doing fight camp on Sunday at the new spot, and I do got our soft opening on Monday. If I don't do that, then I wait to do that until I get back from New York, which means the end of April. So it's not the worst thing. It's just it's decisions. And I have till Thursday, late afternoon, early evening, because the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys have Saturday class they need to know. So I need to let them know, since they have class Thursday night, are they going to be training Saturday, or are they going to be helping with the move? So, and then the weird thing is, I'm talking about it, I feel the pressure of it.
Mm.
I feel it, because once I've told my wife, I'm like, I want in this weekend. But I say that knowing that there's a chance I may not be able to. And I refuse. I'm going to give everything I have to it and burn the boats, basically. But there might be a shot that I still don't get into the new spot. So I'm very grateful. I say all that because I'm very grateful that I've lived in very stressful times, and it's allowed me to deal with the stress pretty well right now and allow me to still think clearly. And so when my wife was stressing out about certain things, or other people seemed stressed about it, even to the point where it's kind of annoying her, where it's like, you don't look stressed. Well, that's a good thing. That means I'm doing my job, because I feel it. I definitely feel it. The one thing that I do realize is that I was already planning on paying for 2 spots. So I'm paying for 2 spots now.
Mm.
It doesn't really that doesn't stop until the end of May. So it is what it is. So I'm very grateful for life. Life teaches us lots of lessons. All we got to do is pay attention and, yeah, keep it moving. So please share what you're grateful for. Let me know. I'm always into that. Always here to listen and help. Now let's dive into it. Men judge what they don't know. So there's been this, I've really been thinking about things, right? I've been deep diving into my own psyche, because the way I've looked at life my entire life has been what I would call weird, right? Outside of the box, where I've worked really hard not to judge people. I've worked really hard my whole life, right? I never wanted to be the guy that bullied people. I never wanted to be the guy who shamed somebody else for being different, dressing different, thinking different. I think that's part of the I'm very blessed. That's part of the environment that I grew up in. Um, as far as the culture, I believe, not saying that Black folks and Hispanic folks can't be judgmental. The funny thing is they tend to be more judgmental of each other than people in other races. Not saying they don't crack jokes, not saying, like, I grew up, in an era of mama jokes and we just talking and making fun of each other. Like, if you like, I was the poor kid, so there's a chance that sometimes I would have messed up shoes. So I knew I was gonna get clowned for it. And maybe that played a part with not wanting to clown others for looking different. But I know when I moved into a high school that's predominantly white, they definitely came down on each other for dressing different, looking different, and it's like, "Oh, you haven't lost enough in your life. You don't even know." And it made me think more and more when I listen to people and they're highly judgmental of other people. And when I ask them, why are you so judgmental? Well, everybody judges to a certain extent, right? A lot of time when I think about when I judge people, it's like, if I'm sitting somewhere, I keep my back to the wind, like I keep my back away from the door, And basically, I want to see everything that's going on. And I'll recognize if somebody comes in and they're walking confidently. I recognize when they're not walking confidently. I recognize when they look angry and things of that nature. And I'm doing that for safety reasons to make sure that my family is going to be okay. I recognize when someone's carrying a gun, right? Because we live in a state where you can have conceal and carry and open and carry. So I'm I'm in tune, uh, and I guess that's me making a judgment. So when I'm talking about judging others, I'm really talking about casting judgment to the point where you look at a person sideways or look at them in a negative light. And so the the first thing I want to get across and talk about is like we should get, at least in my eyes again, and in the good books. When I say good books, I'm talking about pretty much every religious text out there. Um, s- it's not our job to judge, right? So understanding someone doesn't excuse their behavior. It gives you the power to respond better. You are shaped by your past, but you are still responsible for your choices. At the end of the day, you control you, right? That's my core message. So when someone says that my stepfather was an evil man, even like my wife talks about it, what he did to me was bad. The actions were bad. Actions were even technically evil. What helped me heal is understanding what did that man go through, and I've talked about it on here. What could that man have gone through that made him okay with these actions, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily make him an evil man, right? That's a heavy judgment to label onto somebody. And without taking past, without taking their childhood, what they grew up in, what they went through, what their life was like into account, that's that's making a judgment, that's making an opinion on someone and a judgment without all the facts. And we've learned over time when you do that, bad things happen, right? Even throughout history, if we look at someone that they're less than us, we have no qualms making them a slave. All through history, right? All through history. Like the Spartans, their entire society was built on slavery. They relied on slavery, right? Just like many other cultures relied on slavery. It's because we're making judgments upon someone else. What did the Egyptians do? The Egyptians had slaves and they weren't nice to the slaves, but and it's because they looked at them as less than. And what happened? Moses, right? Because it's not our job to judge. And Moses didn't even come into it judging them. When he came back, right? What did he do? He asked to free his people. I'm not judging you for thinking this way, but free my people, right? That didn't happen. So things happen off that, right? So it's not our job to judge. It's not our job to cast someone evil, good or evil, because the what it comes down to is do you really think you're who is that? Demon Slayer Fitness. Oh, what's up, man? Like that's a regular listener. Take thy is that note? Take thy note out of thy own eye, or is that moat? I can't see it from here.
Looks like Mote. It
Okay,
says Mote, and I
yeah.
know that's
Take thy moat out of thy own eye. Yeah, I believe I know what that means. So the thing is, like, you think you're a good person, but if you what were you born? What if you were born into a different life, different parents, different environment? Would you still be good? Or would you be the person you judge? We're quick to call people bad. We're quick to call someone evil. But the truth is, you don't know their story. And we're going to really unpack that, right? Now, I can't speak about women, right? I'm not a woman. I'm going to speak to men. Some of this some of you ladies out there might relate or might understand, right? Men judge fast. We label people good or evil, right or wrong. And why? Why do we do this? And now I'm going to challenge because it's easy. It simplifies a very complicated world for us. And when you do that, we run into problems. When you label someone, you stop trying to understand them. Putting them in a box, labeling them this way, kills the curiosity of wanting to get to know them and understand the why behind it. And when you stop being curious, right? When the curiosity dies, your growth dies along with it. Now, I don't know if you guys out there have heard different philosophers talk about it, but when you start becoming an adult, you're supposed to still look at the world with childlike eyes, right? Because it allows you to always be curious and learning. And if you do that, you always grow. You always become something better. You're always going to learn. The moment we start casting judgment onto others, we kill that curiosity. We kill that part of our body, that our brains, we kill that side of our heart. So we no longer dive in and try to learn about other people. We no longer want to care why they're like this, what they're thinking about, what they're doing, and the list goes on, right? There is no good or evil. There just is. Life itself is neutral. It's not good, it's not evil. It's a stage. What gives life meaning is what people bring into it. Actions create impact, choices create consequences. So instead of asking, is this person good or evil? Ask instead, what did they do and why? Check it. Like if I'm broke, right? If I'm dead broke, if I have nothing, right? Nothing, and and my family's starving, right? We have no food, no water, we have nothing, and I go into a grocery store and steal some fruit. Yeah, that action in society is wrong, right? It's wrong. But that doesn't necessarily make me a bad person, because what would you do to feed your family? I talk about this. I've talked about this to many people and had some pretty good debates. Everybody has a price. The price may not be monetary, but everybody has a price. That's not true. I wouldn't sell my soul for this. Really? If someone had a gun to your kid's head and said, I need you to kill two people or your kid dies, where's your morality go? Are you now an evil person because you murdered two people to save your child? You see how circumstances change everything, right? Do you understand that? If when you live long enough, you realize that anybody can be forgiven for almost anything. How many times have we seen someone go to prison, right? They get out and they make something of their life. Now, they may not become a Fortune 500 CEO, right? But there are some. That makes me think of the Wall Street Trapper.
Yeah.
That man went to prison a couple times and he learned how to flip stocks. He learned how to invest.
My brother's on it.
And now he's helping so many other people. Was he evil? Is that an evil man? No. His actions were bad, but he learned how to flip it. And the thing is, we're so quick to cast judgment onto others and label this person somewhere, and we do it at such a young age. I mentor youth. I had a kid yesterday. It was my first time working with him with the group that I work with, and we were lifting weights, and he went, and no one's ever he's never spent time lifting weights, and he went to lift weights, and the weight was too heavy, right? And he got embarrassed, and nobody was making fun of him, but he got embarrassed, and he said, "Weightlifting's not for me. I don't need to lift weights." Well, cool. Well, what? Okay, I understand that, but for health, it'll help you, right? But also, you can protect your family. I got some form. I got some form to protect my family. I'm like, but you in here, that doesn't apply. And we kept talking, and basically, he was like, "Man, I don't expect to live to 21." He's like, "I am this. I am this way. This is who I am." And I'm like, "You're making a choice to be this way. You don't have to be this way. You can be better. You could do something different." And I'm like, "But it's not my place to judge you, and it's not my place to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you you can be better." But do you know how much? And this kid is like 15, 16 years old. He already thinks like this. Do you understand? Every time he's done something bad, there's no excuse for the actions, but he's been locked up, and basically he's just learned that he's a bad kid. He's just bad. Now, he had somebody not judging him and saying, "You got to do you." But you know, if you don't do this, it's going to affect whether you get to go home and visit your family when that time is up, because this program, they get to go home for 24 hours. And then after a little while, they get to go home for 48 hours, and then they come back and they're still locked up. So I let him be. About 10, 15 minutes later, he's back to lifting weights. And now we dropped the weight because he recognized nobody's going to make fun of him. And he all of a sudden he's doing all the work, and he's lifting the weights, and he's stronger than what he thinks he was. And then one of the people that work there, she hasn't got to see my new gym. So I took them all over there. The first thing I told these group of young men outside. Now, a couple of them already seen the spot. I told them, I'm like, "Look, when y'all go in there, I want you to understand that I didn't start my life with this. I was the same knucklehead that was stealing cars, selling drugs, fighting, getting sliced up, my back, my chest, my wrist, being shot at, fighting, and acting reckless. And now I'm here, right? Long road. But that version of me wasn't a bad person. That version of me was acting out of anger and emotions that I didn't know how to control, and the feeling of lack of love, right? That teenager that I wasn't evil, did bad things, had a moral compass never to do bad things to people, to innocent people, right? So now I'm 45, right? And I got this spot that's giant, and these kids, their eyes lit up. They're like, "Man, this is cool. Oh my God, I can't wait to get in the cage." And we're still doing construction, like not construction, but we're still setting up. But they're looking at everything like blown away. And I'm like, "You see what I'm talking about now? You could build something. You could do more. You just got to go out and get it." But a lot of these young men and a lot of people out there are being judged for their actions instead of just their actions being looked upon. I'm not saying if someone kills someone, they shouldn't go to prison. I'm not saying if someone rapes someone, they shouldn't go to prison. I'm not saying if someone does something wrong, there shouldn't be punishment. I understand that. Checks and balances, right? But I think a lot of the reason why we don't have a great um system that helps people rehabilitate and become better is because there's not enough people asking why this happened. And then when we get the why, we're not spending enough time trying to fix it. We're not investing the time or the resources into these people when they are locked up. Right? It's okay to just let them be a caveman. It's okay to let them just react off their emotions and not learn anything better. Right? It's okay to keep them in survival mode because we could judge them as animals. We can treat them like animals. And it makes life simple. It's easy. It's easy to treat people like that. Well, are times so different than when we had slaves? I'm not even bringing race into this. I'm just saying, like, are times that different? We live in a society now where men are judging women, women are judging men, right? We're just different. We judge their judgment of gay people, of trans people, like, and they're judging. And the funny thing is, they judge everybody else too. They judge people, they're judging people just as much, if not more sometimes, right? Like, what are we doing? You're wasting so much time judging others and worried about what other people are doing. You're not focused on your own damn life. Man, I got Corey, I think maybe I didn't tell you this. I put out so many Instagram videos on my gym page, right? And like a couple people were like, "Oh my God, you look so unhealthy. Like, how are you leading other people?" And just casting judgment without being in the gym and seeing me actually train and seeing the things that I could do. And it's like, you look, yeah. So I shouldn't be leading others. And like even one other instructor reached out, like, "Man, dog, you really got it. Like, I just had a life scare. And if I wasn't training all this time, I wouldn't." And he's in great shape. Like, and I get it. He's looking at it from concern, right? Because he just went through a life scare. And it's like, I get it. I understand it. I feel it, right? I feel you. Focus on yourself, not cast judgment, because that's what I'm on. I'm focused on myself. I'm focused on building something. I'm focused on whether my students are learning, my fighters are learning, right? And it's like this common thing, we cast judgment. And I'm saying, like, it really kills us. It stops what we're supposed to doing. And it really comes down to people just haven't learned how to be empathetic, right? People really lack empathy. But let's be clear, that doesn't automatically make them evil, it makes them dangerous. And dangerous people need boundaries, accountability, and consequences. Basically what I'm saying. Like, every action has a reaction. You should, like, if things are messed up, like, you make a mistake, there's consequences for it, right? Understanding does not mean trusting. Empathy does not mean removing consequence. It just ask why. Understanding the why. Which led me to this next part. Why society pushes good versus evil. Why is that pushed? Why is that narrative pushed? Right? And I really thought about it. I put on my chess master hat, right? I was like, okay, if I look at life as a chessboard, right? If I look at it as such, why would I want people fighting each other? Why would I want people constantly judging each other? When in the Bible it says not to judge. In the Holy Quran it says not to judge. In the Torah, so we can include the Jewish religion as well, right? Which is now covering all three. It says not to judge. I don't know much about the Book of Mormon. It's on one of those things that I just want to read just so I can understand. I don't know much about Jehovah's Witness, but I want to understand. So I know I'm going to take the time to dive into that. But I'm pretty sure it probably has something about not judging. I could be wrong. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, talks about there is no good or evil. It's just life. Life is life. There are good and there's good and evil or good and bad actions that and tons of philosophers and psychologists will go into this, right? So why is that the thing? Why is it easier to do that? It's easier to divide people than to understand them. If you label someone as evil, you don't have to ask deeper questions. You don't have to look at it. Poverty, trauma, broken systems. And here's the truth. If people stay busy blaming each other, they'll never question the bigger picture. Divide and conquer. Keep us divided. We're easy. We're like sheep then. Well, you don't like me because I'm black. You don't like me because I'm white. You don't like me because I'm gay. You don't like me because I'm trans. You don't like me because I'm straight. You don't like me because I'm 6 feet tall. You don't like me because I'm a man. You don't like me because I'm a woman. You don't like the. You don't like the. Really? Or I dislike you for this reason. We're casting judgment all the time, and it just divides us more and more and more and more. And if I was running the show, I'd be like, yes, keep doing that. I'm gonna keep marketing to that because you're gonna keep buying all the things that make you feel good. Because then I could trick your algorithm into so you could see the things that you are judging people on, right? So if you believe every cop is bad, what's gonna start coming up on your feed? Cops doing wrong. If you believe every black person is a criminal, what are you gonna start to see? Black people are criminals. If you think this, if you think fat people are like this, if you think skinny people are like this, if you think men are like this, it's gonna feed into your algorithm because it's listening to you. It's the like I hate to sound corny or like um Andrew Tate, but it is the Matrix, right? It is the Matrix. It's exactly like the movie. We live in the Matrix because everything's online, everything's listening to us. I just don't believe like, and I know the Matrix and Terminator is built off Jesus, right? That's the premise. The writers have talked about that. It's based on religion and Jesus being the Messiah. So there's always a Messiah. I'll take it a step further though. When you really think about it, we are all the image of in the image of what? God. So we all have the ability to be the one. We just have to live our life and walk our life like that, right? We all have the ability to be the one. And so if we recognize this game, we can start to say, okay, wait a minute. Instead of being scared that they're different and afraid that they're different, let's figure out why you're different. And the thing is, I don't have to kick it around you just because you're different. I don't have to accept your beliefs, right? But if I'm not accepting your beliefs and you're not a person I want to kick it around, then why would I even judge you? That's a waste of my energy. It's a waste of my time. I'm going to judge you for this. You are who you are. Ha. You are who you are, player. Right? Jay put it best. And then when we stop casting judgment onto others, it frees up time and energy that we could put in ourselves and change the things that we want to change within ourselves. It puts us closer to being the one. Right? When people are divided, it's way easier to control them. If I can get you to hate your neighbor, you won't question the system. You'll just keep pointing fingers, like I just said. And the cycle repeats itself over and over and over and over again. It's funny. It's like, and I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. I put out clips, right? And I understand the clips will bring out some kind of emotion, right? And the goal is, of course, let's be honest, is to get you to watch the full episode. It's why you put out engaging clips. I want you to learn something from the podcast. I'm hoping that I'm providing something for you. I'm hoping that I'm providing a service for you that will help you. So I put out the clips. Well, then when I put out the clips about Morgan Freeman, I just sort of chuckled that the judgment that was coming out of people. First of all, I got only one guy thought I was white. That was hilarious. Because also, it's funny, my wife, to her, thinks she doesn't, she said something like her and her oldest sister didn't even look at me like I was black, which is fine. I'm mixed. So I am white as well. But I don't think I've ever had someone look at me that way since I was a kid. Right. And so, but someone did on YouTube or Instagram one of the clips, and I just thought that was funny. Right. Because they were looking at it. And then then a white guy actually made a comment, and then they were like going in on him, like, why is a white person talking about this? Well, why can't they? Why can't they? Because Morgan Freeman was basically talking about what I'm talking about now. Let's stop dividing people instead of saying you're a white man and I'm a black man. How about we just say you're a man? Now, I know I'm getting into that territory where, well, why do we have to say they're a man? And why do they have to say they're a woman? You know what? I'll take it a step further. Cool, you're human. The funny thing is, back in the day, man, when someone said man, they weren't talking about a male. They were talking about humans. It didn't matter if you were male or female. They were talking about mankind. Mankind is not just men, it's everyone. So even though this message, I won't, the reason why I say I can't speak on and address this to women is because I understand the rules within our society, right? So I understand that what are women, what's it called? Mansplaining, right? I think it's a term that's overused, right? Because sometimes a person is just trying to explain. They would probably talk to another man the same way. If they don't, now you have a different issue, right? So, but it's like we're all humans. If we didn't divide so much, we could just recognize that we are different. Doesn't matter what those differences are, right? The way I might greet a white guy, right? Or what's that older woman's name again that always talks about racism? Uh, Jane. She's a teacher, a professor. Um, Damn, I'm so bad with names sometimes. Jane Elliott. She said, we're just light skinned. She said, because when you look, and she's right, when you look at the color white on the color reel, ain't nobody really walking around like that. Maybe some people that are quote unquote albino, maybe. But I've kicked it around Brother Ali. Brother Ali isn't even white. Like he's not white, you know what I'm saying? So if we're all light skinned, right? Because we all came from the same place and expanded, right? So if we're all light skinned, can we just understand that some light skinned people just have a different culture? When I go up and I'm dealing with a different culture, you know what I'm saying? You get a little head nod, right? A little bit like that. You dap up, shoulder, whatever, or bop and get a good hug. You know, it's a little bit different with everybody. My son and I have a whole full handshake that we do, right? Yeah. With some light skinned people, you know what I'm saying? It's the right. And not saying the cultures don't get mixed, right? But you get what I'm saying. There's a difference. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not getting into the point of where we're talking about, well, if you're not divided, then how do we divide the bathrooms and things like that? Yeah, I get it, right? It's uncomfortable. I would feel uncomfortable if my daughter was using the bathroom and there were some dudes in there using the bathroom, right? So I get that. I get you want to have separate bathrooms within reason. With that said, if we instead educated, yeah, thank you, Corey. Corey put up the Key and Peele Obama handshake shit. I'm gonna come back to that because I have something to say about that. But um, if we educated people more on sex and appropriate behavior, could it be possible that everybody could use the bathroom? Yeah, and to take it further, when I was in Thailand, right? When we stayed in Bangkok, right? The gym where we were at, they had a unit. It was like a dorm room style bathroom. You had, I think, 3 stalls, like doored up, walled up stalls, and then you had a toilet out in the open, I believe. Sink, mirrors, and everything was out in the open. And the funny thing is like in a couple of the stalls, there's also showers. So you can literally use the bathroom and take a shower. Like it was a big enough stall to do that. But unisex bathroom, just like a dorm room, because there's some co-ed dorms like that, right? Where men and women can go in the bathroom at the same time, right? I think maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. So it, it works, right? It's not something made up. It makes some people uncomfortable. So yeah, we should have some individual bathrooms, right? For comfort. And there are some people that might take it a little bit too far, and those people should be punished for their actions, right? Does that make sense? Is what I'm saying makes sense? Now back to this Key and Peele skit. You know, I've seen that used more for martial arts than any other clip. So they take it where he's dapping everybody up. They have let's say it's a Muay Thai fighter who's Obama, the guy, whichever character's playing Obama. I can't remember. And he sees boxing. He gives him the good dap. He sees kickboxing, gives him a good dap. He sees the MMA fighter, daps him up. And like it's all the same. It's that clip, right? The Key and Peele clip. They're just putting the titles over it. He gets the BJJ because it's different. Like it's, and I've seen it vice versa. And like, I've seen it in so many different ways. So like, it's the funny thing. It is funny to divide, right? Because that's the division. But over top, it's all martial art, right? Corey's darker than me. We're still humans. At the end of the day, we're still humans. And that's the part that I think we forget. That no matter what, we're still humans. And some humans do really bad actions, very evil things. And it makes me wonder what their childhood was like, what growing up for them was like, what were they missing, right? Now, we can't even call a sociopath evil. How do you call a sociopath evil when you really think about it? They have no emotions. They don't feel things the same way. So they don't look at things the same way. And as I stated earlier, everybody has a moral compass that can be moved. Someone threatens your family and makes them hostages, what are you willing to do? Now, I'm sure there are a few people out there that says, well, I believe in the greater power so much that I will not do evil and I will sacrifice my family in order to not do evil. because I believe they will be okay. And that's courageous. That's courageous. They have more courage than me, I believe, because I don't think there's anything I wouldn't do. I believe that my inner animal's a wolf. I believe that. I believe that spirit. That's what God blessed me with. That's what God taught me, right? I will. They always talk about shepherds and shepherds can keep the wolves away. Call me a shepherd wolf then, because I know what I'll go to the lengths to doing to keep the wolves off my door. And I probably even look at it different, to keep the hyenas away, because hyenas will attack anything weak, anything that can't defend itself. Nah, I like the hunt. I don't want anything if it's easy. I don't even when I'm single, don't give it to me because it's easy. Make me work for it a little bit, right? I don't want it if it's easy. It's not worth it then. So it's like everybody's got a price, right? What are you gonna? It's not always money. And I don't think that makes you an evil person. Makes your actions evil. Usually there's justification for it. And if we maybe focused on that a little bit more and pass less judgment, then maybe it would be easier for people to understand that you can't control where you were born. You can't control what you went through. You can't control what happened to you. You can't control what your mom did, what your dad did, what they didn't do, what your uncles did, what your aunties did, what your siblings did, what this person did, what this person did. You can't control anybody else's action. But if we taught people to not judge, right? Not cast judgment, we can then teach them better that you can control how you think, you can control how you respond, you can control who you become. And you can start to move past your past. You can start to understand that every decision you make means something. You can't control where you started, but you can damn sure control where you end up. And you can start taking onus of your life. And I believe that we can only do that if we can truly start recognizing that people aren't evil. Shit, people aren't even good. It's the actions you take, right? Because I guarantee if we talk to the dude that I stomped out when I was like 14 or 15 years old, he probably thought I was evil as hell. But then you talk to all the people that I help now, they think I'm great. Shit, it's neither. What I did was bad over here. What I did was good over here. Balance this like scales, right? Are you providing good into this world? Are you doing services that are positively affecting society? Are you giving something? You notice how that's worded in so many different books, so many different philosophies, right? Just because you got $1 billion doesn't mean you're evil. What do you do with the money? Right? Like, just because you eat meat doesn't mean you're evil. Just because you're a vegetarian doesn't mean you're evil. Like, you get what I'm saying? All this judgment shit. Like, it's a waste of time and energy, man. And for men, like, we got to do better. We got to step it up. We got to focus on ourselves, take accountability for ourselves, hold ourselves to a higher standard for ourselves so we can be better leaders for our family. Mm. What you think, Corey?
It's a heavy subject. I'm surprised TikTok didn't cut you off when you told them how the algorithm worked. Um, But yeah, I mean,
Ooh, Celsius almost went flying everywhere.
yeah. I mean, we have to reevaluate how we treat each other.
Yes, sir.
Um, and there's more answers to be found with people coming together, as you're insinuating, than for us to be siloed. And the
Hmm.
design is to silo us, but we have to learn to overcome that and meet people where they're at.
Mm.
Everybody has something to add. Everyone has something to contribute. Everybody has value in their own way,
Mhm.
and we got to be patient enough to sit with people and see what that is and see how that can work to all of our benefits.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe it's my conspiracy theory brain working. It's just, it's so much easier to divide and conquer.
It is.
So, like, and we put ourselves in that position. And because, and like, I'm looking at the world that way so much when I get on, like, I get on social media so I can post and whatnot. And I'm like, man, people are really mad. How do you spend, like, I'm just curious. I ask, like, why would you spend so much time being mad? Like, how does that serve you? How does that help you? Shit. That seems like I get frustrated with myself. I get frustrated with myself that I can't understand how to communicate sometimes, that I'm not, that I just can't hear validation the way it's supposed to work when you talk to women. It's like, man, shit's complicated. I'm focused on me. Like, how can I get better at dealing with my triggers, yo? Like, so the thought process of being mad and letting myself be triggered over things that don't directly affect me and my family right now, man. Like, I'm not saying that I don't have empathy for people that are dying in other countries. Is me being upset by it and posting on social media going to help? Like, really think about that. If I really wanted to do something about it, I would do everything possible to become a politician, do everything I can to go up those chains, up that ladder, and try to make change. In the meantime, maybe I should focus on me and build something. Build something so I can help my family out. Because helping them out helps society out, right? Martin Luther King didn't talk about dividing. Malcolm X, towards the end, didn't talk about dividing. It's amazing. Countless other people come together, work together, build something dope together. If we keep from putting this energy into judging others, we could take on us over ourselves and we get back to you control you. You feel me? Man, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all. Remember to like, subscribe, follow. Hit us up on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Keep pushing. Thank y'all for supporting, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace. We out.